If you believe in the future of digital advertising, and you should because of the massive shift from TV to digital, then you're going to love discovering Kidoz, who's the absolute leader in child-safe mobile advertising. And how big are we talking? There are almost 5,000 apps around the world that are using Kidoz to reach over 400 million kids, and that's led to working with top brands including Disney, McDonald's, Hasbro, Lego, and being a trusted partner of Apple and Google, which is so critical if you're going to have any success in mobile apps. More than just lip service, that's translating to financial success, starting with revenues back in 2017 at 1.9 million for the year. And in this past year, 2023, $13.3 million, phenomenal revenue growth. And what we're talking about today is their Q1 numbers coming in at just under $1.8 million with more growth year over year. Jason, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, George. Great to see you.
All right, so beyond the headlines, right? So you increased revenues by 7%, which is, and there isn't a small cap company in the world who wouldn't want $1.8 million in revenue and for a quarter and 7% growth. What was really impressive is your gross profit number, which is up 43%. And that came from, yes, some from revenue growth, but more from reducing your operating expenses. Let's talk about where you found efficiencies. It almost feels like you've taken a page out of Elon Musk cutting the fat at Twitter, now X, and increasing profits. Was that what you guys were able to do?
Really, this comes down to media costs. And so there's really like we've improved overall cost base by, I think it was around 3%, maybe a little bit more. But in terms of where that gross profit boost is coming from, we take money in from the advertisers, and then we have to pay for the media across the 5,000 different apps. And as our tools and our kind of importance in that supply chain has increased, it's allowed us to be more efficient in the way that we acquire that media. And so basically there's less competition because we're kind of the main supply source. And that's allowed us to improve our costs and then that flows straight into the gross profit, which is allowing us to get much closer to a profitable number, which is tricky in Q1, which is our slowest quarter of the year.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because you almost read my mind. Most anybody new watching this is going to figure, hold on, they did 13.3 million last year, but they've only done 1.8 million for the first quarter. Seasonally, this is your slowest. Let's explain that just for a second to everybody. It's your slowest quarter because Q4 is where you do the big numbers, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that seasonality and holidays.
Exactly. Yeah, no, Q4 is half or so of our entire business. And so in Q1, usually it's about 12%, maybe even a bit less this year because we're hoping to track to a record this year. So it could be 11%, maybe even 10% if we have a really great year. And so then we'll see Q2 more in the 15 to between 15 and 20, in Q3 25-ish, 2025, and then Q4 is 50% of the business. And yeah, we're gearing up for a really big year. We're in a great place with some of the leader companies that are in this entertainment space that are looking to reach kids, and more they are using digital channels. And one thing that we're saying a lot in our conversations that pretty much is in agreement now is that kids, obviously they're no longer on TV, but the question has been, okay, well, where are they? And what we're saying is really there are two key pillars to reaching and marketing to children. One is you're going to be on YouTube. Kids are definitely on YouTube. There's no question they're using YouTube as an entertainment source. And the other major pillar is mobile games and inside their games. And that's where you use Kidoz. And so, we support and we know that a lot of that spend is going to YouTube, and we see Kidoz and the product and platform that we bring to the table as that second pillar. And actually over the medium term, and what we're showing a lot of our brand clients is that they can get deeper engagement. They can get different types of creative running on our platform versus what they can do on YouTube. And so it's more dynamic in a way.
And that's a major competitive advantage for you guys because I've got an article from CNBC that talks about advertisers. I'm going to read an excerpt here. Advertisers are faced with tech privacy changes that have led to a pullback in the collection of data. As a result, earlier this year, Google began to revamp how it and other companies track users online using cookies, with the goal of completely removing third-party cookies by the third quarter of this year. I mean, you and I grew up in a cookie world, right? That was
True.
how advertising was driven. How much of a tailwind is that for you, with that going
Well,
on and you guys
it's
owning that
great.
mobile app space?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously they've pushed that date back, but at some point they're going to have to bite on the fact that the cookies are disappearing. I think that when we look at the marketing mix, where that cookie problem is going to hit is on anybody spending on web inventory, because web is really where the cookies dominate. It's where the tracking history and profiling is occurring. And so when that web channel becomes even less efficient than it is already, then there's going to be a boost to other channels, such as gaming. So we'll definitely benefit from that. And we've been operating kind of in a cookieless, which therefore contextual manner for quite some time. And so definitely it's a positive tailwind for us. And anything that takes away some of the shine of a different channel, such as web, that is a boost for us. Although we know, the data knows, the brands know, and most of the agencies know that kids don't use a lot of web because they don't really like surfing the internet so much. They want entertainment. They grew up in an app world, in a streaming world. And so that's their first point of call. Like I look how my kids interact with digital environments, and they're almost never on the web. There's very little reason for them to use the web. It's only for
Well, that's
research,
why
really, and then they go
that's
to
why I think the CNBC
Wikipedia.
article stated advertisers have been grappling with how to make the transition, because
Right.
if the kids aren't on the web, where are they, as you're saying? So the transition from TV, they're not on the web. We know they're on YouTube, but Google dominates that, for
True.
so how big of a competitive advantage is that you have 5,000 mobile apps around
Yeah,
the
I mean, I
world
think
you're
that
able to tap into?
one of the most exciting things about mobile gaming advertising is that it's really the only digital medium where you can have your customers actually touch and interact with your product and your marketing, because all other channels, even on YouTube, it's strictly a watching reaction. Your eyes are on the screen, you're not touching it, you're just waiting for it to end. And yes, we have video, which is great. So we have that option for advertisers, but we've also got this rich media where we can encourage people to the tune of 30% or so of the impressions. They're touching the screen, they're engaging with whatever product that might be. And it can be quite a deep engagement for whether they're playing a game or moving around brand assets that come straight from the advertiser, or it could be something more light touch for a younger child in a children's example, where they just kind of push the go button and then they feel like they're a little bit part of an experience that might unfold in front of them. But really, it just is the kind of tip of the iceberg on what could be done. And because people touch their screens in a mobile gaming environment, it's a completely different iceberg, and it is a very deep and powerful and exploratory iceberg that we're championing here at Kidoz, and we're excited about that area.
Yeah, and we've all kind of had that negative experience of watching YouTube ads. You're right into a video, and all of a sudden the ad just pop up, freeze your video. You got to wait
Yeah,
for 30 seconds. Whereas mobile apps, it's all directed by the user, right? The user
it
gets to
is.
decide if they want to click on something to engage with it. And you actually play little games inside of games as
We
part of your
do.
marketing, right? You're not just showing Georgecom, go buy a product from Georgecom. You're actually, you're running an ad for Georgecom that's interactive because the user's already interactive on the mobile game.
Yeah, we might be. I mean, it depends. For every client, it's different. And we have an in-house creative and production team that builds unique experiences for Happy Meal and for other great brands that want to engage children in a kind of on a safe platform. And so we look at the different requirements, and we design something special each time. And so, for George Com, it could be whatever your best success stories are for the last couple of months. We can think of a way to kind of feature those to your target group, and then they can interact with them at their own pace, or create some kind of fun mechanic around them so that they're getting a little bit deeper than just having something pushed at them.
Another tailwind you've got is the macro side, and you've got Meta, Google, Alphabet, obviously, and Snap
Sure.
that all reported Q1 results that beat analyst estimates. And a lot of that was acceleration advertising growth. So are you seeing the same thing on your end? You had 7% growth year over year for Q1,
Right.
and you're well into Q2 right now. We're pretty much two-thirds of the way into Q2. Are you seeing that same trend? Are you seeing more buyers coming forward,
I'm
more
definitely,
campaigns coming
yeah. I
forward?
mean, when we spoke last, I was confident that 2024 would be a record year, and I remain confident that 2024 will be a record year. We're pacing well, certainly. I'm excited about what we've done through the first, almost 5 months now. But I'm more excited about the opportunity still that sits ahead, knowing that, unreleased, of course, but like huge percentage of our revenue is yet to even be tracked. But we're sitting on some really great deals and some great relationships that are a result of the hard work that our teams have done over the years, and kind of brands opening their eyes a little bit to what this type of marketing is, and how to make sure they're doing it right, but also how to maximize their investments in their marketing to make sure that it's not all disappearing through the hands of, multiple middle sellers that could be in the chain. And so, we do our best to show brands what the path is to help them maximize their reach, maximize their dollars, maximize their impact. And that's also, it's getting the most media for their dollars, but it also means reaching kids with every dollar, because you don't want to be wasting that money in other places. And a lot of that does occur with other suppliers, but we're a purpose-built system that is completely designed for this purpose, and we know what we're doing, and we continue to invest significantly in our software and our systems to help these brands achieve their goals, and feel good about choosing Kidoz.
Do you think a lot of brands had to really scramble as TV started to fall off a cliff because it's lost
True.
50% of its and so the first place it scrambled to was web and social media. But we're seeing a lot of pushback, especially on the social media side for young kids. I mean,
Yeah,
we've seen
big
that
time.
now for a while, but it seems like there's legislation coming out. I know in Ontario they want to ban phones, all that. Do you think the pushback on social media will help push advertisers into mobile apps more? It seems like maybe they
I
haven't
think
this,
it
even though you're
should.
doing really well, you're really successful, they haven't really come into that realm. They've gone TV, web, social, and it seems
Sure.
like mobile app is still a big
Yeah,
uncharted
when we're
territory.
talking non-kids, then instead of two pillars, it's three pillars. YouTube's a pillar, social's a pillar, and we're like mobile games. The way that we talk about it is there's 2 billion people on YouTube, there's 2 billion people using social, and there's 2 billion people playing mobile games. But currently, the non-kids spend in the mobile games third pillar is a fraction of what it is in the
Yeah.
first two pillars. And so there are a number of reasons which we could go into, but really it just comes down to them not identifying that pillar and understanding the pillar and starting to test in that pillar. And really it's a supply and demand type of thing too. So on YouTube and in social, there's a huge amount of opportunity to reach people, and there weren't that many advertisers at the beginning of those channels. And now they're really saturated, those channels. So really the demand for people's eyeballs has kind of peaked in terms of your return. So really those advertisers should be looking for a new place to advertise, and that we're showing them mobile games.
So
I think that
mobile
on your
games.
first question,
Oh, good.
yeah,
Keep
sorry.
going.
Your first question was about the movement of and the pushback on social, and I think that is really important, and we've been studying that as well. We launched a survey to parents, and it was about what age they think that TikTok is appropriate. And 70% of parents said either it should never be allowed at all or 18 plus. So it was only 30% thought that it should be used by anyone under 18 at all. And so I think we're really starting to see that pushback come in, and it's a lot of opportunity.
There's no pushback on mobile gaming, right? Because mobile gaming, parents will complain that little George spends a little too much time on mobile gaming, but they don't have the concern of the negative impacts of social media. They just, okay, Georgie's, you played that game for an hour, time to go do your homework or go outside. But there's no concern over mobile gaming, right? Other than time spent. That's time eternal. When I was a kid, my mom didn't want me playing Atari for very long. So you have it. Is it safe to say that mobile gaming is almost like a safe place? It's viewed as a safe place for kids and families.
So, like I was saying, really, when mobile apps are viewed as this kind of safer place, because actually they go through a separate review process because of the Apple and Google publishing area.
Right.
It's not just this free-for-all of user-generated content that's on an algorithm optimized to capture your brain for as long as possible. It's, you know, game design, human review, human efforts on art, creating what is essentially a production like a movie, but it's a game. And so, yes, it is safer because all of the content is pre-reviewed and pre-designed and optimized to be entertaining, not just, algorithmically sticky. And so, no, games are completely brand safe and actually offer a huge opportunity for brands to build engagement in environments that are much healthier and more rewarding and engaging than social media. So yeah, we're excited about that from beginning to end.
Yeah, and more than just talk, it's showing up on the top and bottom line. Another great Q1,
Thank you.
7% increase on the top line. You reduced expenses, so your bottom line improved, your gross profit jumping 43%. You're delivering, Jason. Thanks for joining us. I know you're in Greece. I'm in Daytona Beach, Florida, but it's important to get this out to everybody. And can't wait to have you back, because it seems like every 2 to 3 weeks you and I are on together talking about something more and more exciting at Kiddos. For everybody at
It is
home,
great.
you've
Thank you,
been
George, for having me.
watching, or if you listen by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Jason Williams. He's the CEO of Kiddos, trades in Canada, KIDZ, for our friends in the US, KDOZF. If you're new to the story, you're just discovering this great top line revenue and growth in the small cap world, which is hard to find, and you want to know more, get to the company's profile on Agoracom to get a good 30,000 foot overview, and then head over to the Kiddos website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.
Thank you.
Hey Small Cap fam, I hope you loved this interview because more than a dozen people were involved in its production for the sole purpose of making you happy. If so, can you take a moment to support both our awesome guest company and Agoracom? Your engagement means the world to us. First, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up by tapping that like button. It's a small gesture that helps this interview reach even more potential investors to discover today's guest. Second, we would love to hear your feedback on this interview, so please leave a comment below. Be sure to keep it clean, but feel free to poke fun at George. If you loved what you heard on today's video and want to dig into our guest company right away, take a look at the links in the description below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to never miss another great Agoracom small cap video. Thank you so much. We couldn't do any of this without you. Make sure to come back soon.